Hey guys, Griever here. What is going on? This is the new content I promised. Trying to do different types of videos. Trying to get you guys interested in different sort of things involving manga and anime. Reviewing one series once a week when the chapter comes out is not enough to establish myself as someone who reviews manga and to be a manga anime type channel. I don't review any anime episodes. I review one manga series and off and on do a separate review of something else. But now it's 2018. It's a new year. It's time to do some more stuff. So this is going to be bold predictions for a current running manga series in 2018. Now, this video was scheduled, and I already recorded this video before the Seven Deadly Sins Chapter 249 hit. And the problem is that there was just too many references to the fact that it's been 2018. There's no new manga chapter, so I can't do any new content yet in revolving that and stuff. So I kind of have to re-record this video as we're doing it right now. So anyways, this, as I said, this video is going to be bold predictions for 2018 manga series. Now, there's no particular order. There's nothing like that. It's just going to be a couple of theories that I found online and that I also personally believe will be happening to some of the more major manga series in 2018. So, with that being said, let's get started with, of course, the series that I review, the one I tend to know the most about, which would be, of course, Nananatsu no Taizai, or Seven Deadly Sins. Now, as you all know, I have plenty of theories in my reviews. Anybody who watches my reviews know I have a multitude of theories involving, Escanor and Merlin and Meliodas. This time, though, it's all about the end game. This time it's all about the end game, and not so much that I believe that the series will end this year. I think there's more content than 40 chapters this year left in Seven Deadly Sins, but this comes in the guise of Estarossa. This is Estarossa centric. Now, there's been the theory before that he is the adult body of Meliodas, kind of a Link version, an Ocarina of Time, Fierce Deity Mask thing from Majora's Mask sort of ideal, is that Meliodas is trapped in his younger body, and his more mature body is waiting for him. Even they take it from Toshiro Hitsugaya from Bleach, had to, wait so long to finally fully mature into his adult version of his Bankai form. Now, I don't believe that Meliodas needs any more maturing or anything needed necessarily to do, but I believe he's been kind of held like this body, Estarossa's body, and the reason they look so much alike, and that his wanted poster at the beginning of the series looks like Estarossa, like what Meliodas would look like as an adult. He looks like an adult version of Meliodas. People mistaken him for Meliodas, even in two separate dream sequences, one with Elizabeth, or whatever you want to call them, but dream sequences where Elizabeth turns around and sees Estarossa in shining armor and believes it's an adult version of Meliodas, and even questions like Sir Meliodas, and we don't really get an answer to what that was. And then of course we have the current running thing where Estarossa has a dream and knows who a goddess Elizabeth is, and sees like a memory, a past memory that's been unlocked. So I'm under the belief that maybe this was a power split or something like that Meliodas was originally Estarossa. That's why, once again, even though Estarossa says I might throw my hat in the ring for this Demon King thing, that's why it was never really brought up. That's why Estarossa, it's always Zeldris versus Meliodas. It's not Estarossa, and there's a few ways. There's not a whole lot of information we have enough on Estarossa to really have that kind of theory, but it's the best thing that I could come up with. So bold prediction is we will find out if that theory is true or not, and I'm standing by that theory that Estarossa is somehow linked to Meliodas's adult form in some way, whether it's a locked version, whether the soul was split, like from power to body. That's why he lacks emotions, because it's actually a shell of Meliodas's former body. And also, maybe Estarossa will be the final antagonist. Now, that's something that's probably past 2018, but I think we're setting up for the fact that all fingers are pointing to the anomaly, which is Estarossa being the one who gets the power of the Demon King, becomes the final boss, all for some past with Elizabeth, some sort of love triangle perhaps, maybe between Meliodas, Estarossa, and them, or maybe, as I said, if their body is split, that would explain the memory of that Estarossa is having about Elizabeth, and why even Goddess Elizabeth, with all her memories, does not recognize Estarossa, Esterosa does not know how he knows her, because Meliodas and him were once one and the same. And now that, they've separated, from adult body and memory form, whatever you want to call it, this is what has transpired. This is what happened. What do you guys think about that there in the comment section below? Please let me know. I didn't come up with the whole of this theory, but I did add my own tweaks and my own thoughts on it. So that's the bold prediction for 7 Deadly Sins. What do you guys think? Right, so the next bold prediction is for the longest running series that's still running, that it would be a One Piece. One Piece being the most popular manga series to date, that's still currently running. It's got numerous fan base, and there's so many videos, there's so many YouTubers and theory videos, and just everything. One Piece, One Piece, One Piece, One Piece. I don't pretend that I know enough about One Piece compared to any of, like Rogers Base, King of Lightning, Tekken 101. I don't pretend that I know as much as these guys do, but I'm still going to make my own personal bold prediction from what I've heard that everyone else is kind of thinking about, and it's involving the Reverie and the end of Whole Cake Island. Now, a lot of people are saying that Big Mom might die. No, that would be a great bold prediction to say Big Mom will die. And once again, these bold predictions are not meant to be like, I truly, like 100%, this is going to happen, guys. This is a theory. No, this is a bold prediction, hence the word bold. This is kind of out there, but you never know. It could. There's always a 1% chance. It's not meant to be, this is the highest percentage chance of what's going to happen. That's boring. Let's go for the Hail Mary on what's going to happen. So, this personal theory involves the Reverie, and it involves the revolutionaries showing up and breaking up the Reverie. Now, I believe that it's entirely possible that the revolutionaries do show up and hijack it in some way, and I think Dragon will make his first real appearance in the series in an arc. And I believe Dragon will lead an entire that's his point, to revolt. And this is the perfect opportunity for him to do it. What better time than the Reverie, when all the world leaders and kings and all these important figureheads are all together in one place for him, just to grab them all. And for all we know, half of them are on his side. He's been taking over territories just like a Yonko does. For all we know, half of these kings have this. They all are part of the revolutionaries. I mean, we don't know the status on all of them. Like some of them could have been coerced, and even if you say, okay, well, this person isn't, or that person, Cobra isn't, Wapple isn't, Vivi isn't, whatever, these people could still, be a part of it, and we just never heard about it. We haven't seen every behind the scenes shot of what every character's been doing, or what Dragon's been doing. We know nothing of Dragon's activities other than, the main base of the revolutionaries was attacked. So I believe that a bold prediction would be, say, Dragon and his revolutionary army shows up, hijacks the Reverie, and either holds them hostage, or it's the coming days to the start of the new arc after Wano. Even though Wano's supposed to be the biggest arc, it's supposed to span like 2.5 years. I think that this would be a good setup for the following arc after Wano, to see what could happen there. Another big war, another big thing. And Oda even speculated this, that there is something even bigger coming. Now, whether it happens during Wano, if it involves Kaido or something, we don't know, but I think it has to involve something like Marineford, something to shift the balance of power, something that is revolutionary inside the One Piece world itself, not just what happens with the Straw Hats, but what happens with the New World, the Grand Line, and everything at large. So I think that would be the bold prediction, that happens during the Reverie, because we know the Reverie is going to happen this year right after Whole Cake, and it's supposed to be a very short arc because Wano is happening this year as well. So I believe it's entirely possible that Dragon shows up, hijacks it in the middle. That's how it's so short. That's the Reverie kind of almost gets cut as a result of Dragon showing up, hijacking it. And perhaps maybe he's working with Vegapunk. There's a lot of theories going around that Vegapunk is actually a revolutionary, and there's some basis for that. And perhaps all the pacifistas are programmed kind of like like Terminators or whatever, and like click of a button, oh, you thought they were on the world government side. Dragon goes, wait a minute, I believe it was during the pre-Reverie stream for Reverie Part 2 that King of Lightning and them brought up that dragon, it could be an Order 66 thing from Star Wars. Now, that would be really cool. That's a possibility as well, but so bold prediction for One Piece is Dragon and the Revolutionaries show up for certain at Reverie, and they hijack it, hold them for hostage, something to that effect. That's my bold prediction about what's going to happen with One Piece in 2018. So the next bold prediction is for the series Shogeki no Soma, or also called Food Wars. This is a really good series. I'm really happy to see it. Of course, it is based off of the whole Iron Chef originally from Japan, and then the Iron Chef America, of course, being the American counterpart or the Western counterpart. Gained a lot of popularity. The art style is fantastic. It's had good pacing, good character development. I used to love some of these other cooking mangas and sports mangas and things like that, and they don't get enough love, so it's really nice to see one of these series climbing higher and higher steadily, and it's just gaining more and more popularity, and as a result I'm just really happy to see this. Now, my bold prediction of this, now for those of you who don't know or haven't read the series, please go check it out, but right now there's a battle royale going on between basically the main cast called the Rebel faction and then the Elite 10, who are basically the top dogs and currently the antagonists, or at least the current antagonists of this gourmet school academy. Now, the only problem here is that this is not the end. This is not the final arc. We are now into into January 2018. The series is not scheduled to end from anything I could see. This is not the final arc. But the main character, Soma, is now going to face his final nemesis very, very soon. So there's only one option. The rebels are going to lose. Soma and his gang have to lose this battle because they are not ready. And I can say that with confidence because it took everything he had. They even showed that he was sweating bullets, and it was a paper-thin line between his victory over the 4th seat. And that was only, 6 chapters ago? 10 chapters ago? It wasn't that long. It's been happening. He hasn't had a break. He's going out. This is day 2. This is the day after he's battling against the 1st seed. So, what? Like what are they supposed to do? He hasn't leveled up in that period of time. There's been no training montage. There's been no time skip. He right now has just by a very thin margin defeated the 4th seed, who was no slouch. That's fair that he defeated the 4th seed, but he is not ready to take on the 1st seed. If he beats the 1st seed, that destroys the entire narrative. And the problem is with this series, or not a problem with the series, but the problem with saying, oh no, he's going to win, is that defeats the purpose, because yes, you can say that, Arena's father and stuff, and there's still the battle between him and Arena's grandfather, and the whole, the head honchos still need to duke it out and, do this sort of thing. That's not going to happen right yet. It has to happen, but how can that happen if the rebels win? It's game over. They don't have any more chips to play. The Elite 10 are done. They take over the school. The Elite 10 vote out the Azami, or what do they call it? The Azami administration. They abolish that, and the school's back to normal. They reinstate Arena's grandfather as the head, and they all go back to normal. That's the end of the series, though. And I don't think the series has to end yet. So you can't do that. At the beginning of this series, it was very early on stated that when Soma showed up, he goes, I'm just going to aim for the number 1 spot of this school. That was his goal this whole time. He's now in grasp of that goal. So the goal that's been set up for 250 odd chapters is coming to a close without ending the series? No. That does not make sense. So my only, this is not a bold prediction. This is not even the bold prediction. I believe I already said that. But the series is not going to end yet. So, that is a possibility. If the series is ready to end, by in this year, then sure, this can happen. But I don't believe the series is ready to end yet. If it is, then that will happen. If it's not, then the rebels have to lose. And that means that, to keep this ongoing, there's got to be some sort of betrayal. Somebody over there, Ringo or somebody, or whatever her name is, the 2nd seed or someone's going to have to, break off. Somebody is going to have to. There's going to be a shift. Either I believe that maybe Joshiro or Gene will have to betray the rebel faction, which would be a huge, especially Joshiro being Soma's father and stuff like that. Maybe I don't know. Soma's mother shows up. That could be a big twist. There's always, if there's one great parent, there's usually always a second one. That's a bit of a shonen trope. But somebody has to betray somebody. There's got to be something out of left field to keep this, freight train going, because the way it's shaping up is either the series is over, or they have to lose and something else has to happen, because otherwise the problem is they've kind of wrote themselves into the corner. If the rebels lose, that's the end, basically the end of the main characters. This is their last ditch effort. This is the last resort. But the thing is that if they win, then the main characters won at the end of the day. They saved the academy. There's unless there's some type of loophole contract, unless there's been some other type of backing here, unless somebody has to do some betrayal, someone has to do some, left field, throw to the wrong side sort of thing. There's got to be a shift in power somewhere that happens, and I believe that the potential for it is that it's going to be from the rebel side. It's going to be someone we don't see coming. It's going to be Joshiro or Gin, the original first and second seat from, the previous generations, are going to betray the Rebel Alliance, and that will be a huge shift, but great character plot line and development if we can establish that further. That's my bold prediction that there's got to be a betrayal from someone we're not expecting, and Soma has to lose in his battle against the first seed. If he doesn't, then it's been a lackluster, build up to this battle at this point. So for him to win now would take away the whole premise since day one of the series. So tell me what you guys think of this. This one's a little more controversial, a little more, explanation required. But leave your thoughts in the comment section below, please, because this one's a little more long-winded, but I hope you guys grasp the gist of that one, and hopefully you guys can shed some light on why I'm totally full of shit, or why maybe you're thinking, holy shit, maybe you've got a point. So anyways, post in the comments below as always. Let's move on to a few more bold predictions for 2018. So I have a few more series to go over, but nothing too major, because I don't, some of these series haven't really established enough of a basis yet. Stuff like Robot X Laser Beam, which only has, 30, 40 odd chapters. Dr. Stone is into the 40 chapters line. There's things like Monster Arms Dealer, which I thought would be a good running series, but I heard that it's only 4 chapters long and it's already been canned, so that's unfortunate. And the second chapter hasn't even been English translated as far as I could find yet, so there's that little problem there. But I want to lump kind of 2 of them together in this current one, and that is Black Clover and Dr. Stone. I want to lump these together because unfortunately I think they're both going to fall in popularity big time in 2018, and at least one of them is going to be canceled. So this isn't exactly plot relevant to the series themselves, but more so a bold prediction within the story. This is a bold prediction for the series as a whole from a real world perspective, that Black Clover is trying too hard to be a classic shonen. This works with stuff like One Punch Man, which its entire basis is to be a parody of the classic shonen tropes, the Dragon Ball Z's and the Big Three and things like that. It's trying its very hardest to be that parody, and so that niche works for them. Whereas Black Clover is still trying to take itself, have the anime comedy elements, but still take itself seriously, like Naruto did, Bleach, One Piece. As I said, they all have their humor in them, but still take themselves seriously as not a parody, but a true shonen manga. The problem is that the characters are bland. They haven't been fleshed out. You can easily apply, a different hair color and different hairstyle, to some of these characters, and swap around a few personality traits, and you have the same type of characters in the main big 3. Now, people have argued that, well, yeah, but you can say that about any series. The thing is that this is going down a fairy tale route. It's not that those tropes are bad. It's that when you're into chapter 100 plus, as Black Clover is, you need to establish some differences, some diversity. No one can tell me that Naruto and Bleach are the exact same series. No one can tell me that One Piece and Dragon Ball Z are the same series. No one can tell me, that Toriko is the same as, I don't know. Fairy Tale's not a great example, but you get the gist here. Seven Deadly Sins, which is still slowly gaining popularity, is once again got some classic shonen tropes, but has so good twists. It's set in a European setting, just that setting alone, which Black Clover does try to do, set up its own world and stuff, but it's going down that fairy tale route. It's trying too hard, and then it's going to be more and more of friendship wins in the end of the day to win fights, and no good establishment of character growth. It's okay to have these tropes. As I said, that Fairy Tail was extremely popular at the beginning. It was looking like the next big, one. Now that when Toriko was ending, and which really realistically it should have been the big four. Toriko was hugely popular by the end of its run, but like Bleach and One Piece and Naruto. Everyone was looking forward to Fairy Tail at first, and it was really good. It got huge popularity. I loved it at first. A lot of YouTubers loved it at first, but then it failed. It did not live up to the hype. There were too many. It just kept riding the same train, and there was not enough differential between that and other series. It didn't set itself apart enough other than to go down a bad road. I believe Black Clover is going in the same direction. I stopped reading Black Clover, so correct me if I'm wrong. I stopped reading around chapter I didn't get into the series until about chapter 10 or 12, and I stopped reading just around the cusp of 100. Please tell me if it's changed very much, but no, I haven't been keeping up with it on a weekly basis anymore because I totally lost interest. It's too bland for me. There's nothing holding my interest any longer. So that's my bold prediction for Black Clover, is that it's trying too much to be like the big three, the next one, and it's being pushed to be that, but it's going to fail like Fairy Tail. It's either going to be canceled because the storylines get so bad that everyone just reviews it to hate on it, or it's just going to be canceled because it's done. It can't go any further. I hope it's the latter, because I would hate to see another series that had potential fail like Fairy Tail just because they're trying to push to have another something to stand alongside of One Piece so desperately. So I hope that doesn't happen, but I don't think Black Clover is going to survive the year. If Black Clover does, then Dr. Stone will not, because Dr. Stone is done by one of my favorite manga artists, who also did Sunken Rock, which is also one of my favorite, more mature series. So, this is not for the faint of heart, guys, but Sunken Rock was an amazing series that never gets enough, raves and reviews for the art style and the storylines and the intricity, the depth of that story, where they totally went left field with it and went so very philosophical and political and things like that. Very, very intricate things. Haven't seen something so making you think since something like Death Note, for me personally, that I've read. The problem is that Dr. Stone, while starting out on a good front and still having really good art style, is that it's getting too sciencey for a lot of people. The first 10-15 chapters, they were starting at a good pace, but then it felt really rushed. They had so much more potential. It feels like the writers and the artists and the author were rushed to make it more exciting, and unfortunately they kind of tripped on this trail a few times, and now we're into this plot line where it's all about advance this, advance that, and most of the chapters are about humor, about the stupidity of the characters that don't understand the science. And then of course we have the science aspect, which takes these long-winded, paragraph long, these whole essay long dialogue blocks that I find very interesting, because I'm like that. I'm very interested in those things, but you're basically stopping the progress for a few pages to explain all the science of what's going on. Then you show them do what they said, and then okay, they've completed the item. But that's not going to hold interest for very much longer, and unfortunately it's going to fall in popularity. I believe, once again, real world applications here is not that the story is necessarily going to get worse, is that this is not going to hold enough readers' interest unless we have a million science majors reading this series, or people that are vastly interested in science and don't want to see just another beat 'em up or something like that. It's getting too dialogue heavy on the specifics and the scientific aspects of it, and that's not going to hold enough. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's not going to hold enough people's interest to keep the popularity rising, or even to keep it at a stasis. More and more people are going to drop the series because they don't, when they're on their break time and they want to read the latest manga chapter that came out that morning, they're not going to want to read first thing in the morning this long-winded explanation over coffee all about the effects of sulfur on a different type of glass metal and stuff like that. They're not going to want to read that first thing in the morning. They just want to see what's going on with Luffy and the gang, more so than that. They really need to either change this and really step up the plot and get some more tension and other things going on, rather than just establishing the scientific facts and this little village with all these advancements. They need to really advance the plot this year quickly. Otherwise, I believe that it's not going to hold enough people's interest and it's going to fall. So once again, this is kind of a double whammy. I know, once again, a little long-winded, but Black Clover and Dr. Stone, one of them is not going to make it to 2019, I don't think. So yeah, let me know about that one. That one's rather controversial because I know Dr. Stone has not a huge following, but very devout followers who do love it. Same with Black Clover. They will defend it just like the fairy tale lovers. They will defend it until their dying breath, So might get some hate for that, but hey, just post in the comments below about why I'm totally full of shit and why I'm wrong about this, why my bold prediction is totally off. Just remember, guys, once again, this is the worst case scenario. This is the 1% chance. This is the bold predictions. Once again, reiterating once again, bold, B-O-L-D. I spelt that right on the first try. Amazing. So yeah, just keep that in mind, guys, and let's move on to the final couple of predictions here. So I was going to do a long-winded one about My Hero Academia, but this series, it just doesn't click with me. I try so hard every time that when Tekken 101 Bleach was over and he tried to get into My Hero Academia, and he stopped doing that. I tried so hard while he was reviewing it to get into it. I found it very, very hard, and everyone's saying this is the next big three. Black Clover, step aside. Fairy Tail, you failed at it. This is the start of the next big three. It's very difficult for me to get on board with this series. I'm still up to date with it, but it's very difficult for me. So take that knowledge as you will. So I don't feel qualified as someone who's not in love with the series and wants to see it succeed and stuff. I don't think I should make too bold a prediction about anything that's going to go on, really. The only thing I'm going to say, it's going to be short and sweet, is that All Might is going to be dead by this year. All Might's death is imminent anyways, and he will die in 2018. And I also believe that All for One is going to be released back into the world after All Might's death, or he will cause it, one or the other. Either way, All Might's going to die, and All for One is going to be back on the unleashed upon the world. That is going to happen in 2018. I hope for some more subplots with lesser characters, because some of the characters that held my interest were ignored for far too long, and that's part of the reason that I'm losing interest fast with the series. So even with the latest arc, the latest big battles, kind of coming to fruition here, it wasn't holding my interest enough to keep me. I was just wondering what's going on with characters that I enjoy that have been ignored for too long. And unfortunately, with a series like this is not on One Piece's level yet. You cannot, introduce us to a cast of characters, some which are quite high on the popularity poll and everybody talks about and everybody loves, just to, all right, we're going to push you guys aside for 45 chapters. That is a horrible idea when you're not 500 chapters in. You can't do that. When you're not One Piece, you can't do that. It wouldn't work for Seven Deadly Sins right now. It wouldn't work for Shogeki. It wouldn't work for it wouldn't have worked for basically any characters, really. Any series that I can really think of for very long. So I'm hoping that now that that's all over and done with, we're into brighter futures, and I'll be able to get back into the series. I still read it on a weekly basis, as I do everything else. But yeah, really hoping here that My Hero Academia steps up to the game a little bit And yeah, so bold prediction for that, as I said before, the death of All Might and the release of All for One. Post in the comments below why you hate that idea and how I'm an idiot and I should read more My Hero Academia and understand its brilliance. I've heard it enough, but keep telling me, guys. So that's that bold prediction. Let's move on to the last one. Final prediction is, of course, a series that some people have not read and a lot of people are not interested in because it's a sports manga. Yeah, those going outside, sports and anime mixed. Oh my god, how will we survive? I find that a lot of people, a lot of the popular YouTubers don't read sports manga, even though some of them are widely popular. I know that iShell21 was very popular. Prince of Tennis is hugely popular. Even to this day, I still read the latest one, New Prince of Tennis or Shin Prince of Tennis. And there's been a couple of others, mostly more romance mangas that have also like Suzuka and things like that. But yeah, all in all, usually the sports mangas are not usually done, and only a few of them get a level of recognition and popularity. I know there's that one Haiku, I believe it's the volleyball or basketball one. That one's gained huge popularity, but I'm not a huge fan of the sport. Either one, volleyball, basketball, take your pick. So I just don't read the series, but I hear great things about that, and a lot of people are saying that's good. So it's nice to see that sports mangas still have a place. Because as a sports fan, as someone who does watch a little hockey and definitely watches the NFL and things like that, it's nice for me to include two of the things that I love, manga, anime, and sports, into the same thing. It's like a 2-for-1 for me. So, but that being said, this is of course about Robot X Laserbeam, the current real running weekly sports manga, which is about golf. And golf is something that I never really cared for as a kid or anything, didn't really play it, but now I'm starting to get into it. I do enjoy golf, and I'm not half bad actually. I'm very green on the course, pun intended. But I do enjoy playing golf, so this seemed like a good series for me. My bold prediction, not to keep you guys, is the fact that it's going to go down the Prince of Tennis route. It has to. If it doesn't, then the series is kind of shot itself in the foot. Looking at the latest chapter, it seems it's going that route a little bit more with the actual laser beam, the lock-on laser beam and stuff. They're getting more. And what I mean by the Prince of Tennis route is that when you have a sports manga, you need to keep the reader very interested, more interested than a shonen, more interested than a seinen, because the demographic who read that are interested in the classic tropes. People who read sports mangas are not necessarily interested in the sport necessarily. You have to convince a bunch of people, and a lot of manga readers do not play sports or are not big sports fans. So you need to convince not just the sports fans like me who also read manga. You need to convince more than just me. You need to target more than me. You need to target people who do not watch sports but still love your series. A friend of mine got into Prince of Tennis one time, never really played sports in his life, and all of a sudden wanted to join tennis. And he actually did join a tennis club for 2 years. Of course, he thought he could be an anime superstar like in Prince of Tennis, and of course that fell on its ass. But no, but that's what I'm saying. You need to appeal to people who aren't necessarily interested in the sport, but you have to make the characters that much more interesting. Robot X Laserbeam, unfortunately, is set in a very realistic setting. With the exception of, there's a little embellishment, but this is not, Prince of Tennis established basically superpowers. We had, doppelganger powers, and we had people that used the power of the elements, and people who could make tennis balls disappear, fired 10 balls at once, have ultimate counters, steal your senses. There are amazing amount of, make the ball, force the ball to come to you, with high use of winds and stuff like it was a superpower version of tennis, which is very shonen-esque, and that's probably why it got popular. Robot X Laserbeam needs to do this. Robot X Laserbeam has to start establishing superpowers, not just remarkable feats that are unlikely in the real world. No, you need to say, okay, this guy can do something that's there's no way a golfer could do that in the world. Like, no way. And not just one or two feats. You need to have every challenger, every golfer has to have a unique ability. You need to establish that type of trope. If you don't, this series is going to start to fail. It's going to fail really hard. And so currently, I think they did a time skip too quickly, and the main goal has been set a little low, and they're going to have to establish another goal really quickly. I don't mind the characters. Character development's fine, but it feels very rushed. I don't know if that's on the part of the author or if that's the part on the publisher. I don't know, but yeah, so my bold prediction for Robot X Laser Beam, that if it does not start establishing itself to be a super powered version of golf with you know, the Prince of Tennis-esque level superpowers, you know, borderline just having a bunch of shonen heroes like a Dragon Ball Z cast or a you know, Fairy Tail, Seven Deadly Sins, One Piece, basically Devil Fruit golf players. That's what we need. Golfers with all different, totally unique abilities that help them play the game a different way. If we don't start establishing that, I don't think the series is going to hold enough water, and it's not going to last for 2018. It might not be over by 2018, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't, if it doesn't start going down that route. So that's my bold prediction for Robot X Laser Beam. Not the greatest series to really end out on. It's not gotten a huge following yet, being only at chapter 38, 39 so far. So as one little bonus bold prediction, I think the one shot that is supposed to be released by the Bleach creator himself, Tite Kubo, is going to be a smash hit. It's only meant to be a one shot, but I believe that everyone is dying to see just something, anything from one of the big three creators, because Black Clover is failing, Fairy Tail did fail, and nothing else is really. My Hero Academia is trying its best, but I don't think it's quite there yet. So I think that this new one shot might really pick up 2018 as a great manga year if we can establish that. So anyways, that's just a quick little bonus little prediction there, bold prediction, to say that the one shot is going to top charts and be amazing, and everyone's going to rave about it, and not just for nostalgia for Bleach, but just because it's going to be good. I think it's just going to be really, really good. I think he waited enough time after the end of Bleach to kind of think of something different, think of a new idea, and just, you know, work with it, mold it, and now he's ready to release it. So I believe it's supposed to be released 2018 anyway, from the last I heard. I can't wait to see it, and yeah. So anyways, guys, that's enough out of me. What did you think of my bold predictions for 2018? Did you hate them all? Did you agree with them all? Did you have some opinions or some different views on some of the theories and predictions that I made? As I said before, some of these were already online and are from other sites and other YouTubers, but most of them have my own twist, if that's the case anyways. And once again, these are bold predictions, guys. These are not what I think is going to happen. This is what this is something that's kind of Hail Marys, just to see if you know, something sticks. You know, this is kind of the 1% chance that this might happen, that might happen, and what I think could potentially happen is still a possibility for 2018 for these series. So if you like the video, of course, hit the like button. If you want to tell me that I'm totally full of shit, please post that in the comments below, but tell me why. Tell me which thing that you don't agree with, and give me your own opinion. I'm always glad to hear from you guys. This has been the Bold Predictions of 2018 Manga Series by Griever, your host as always, and we'll see you guys next time. See you later, guys.